Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know what it is. It's me, your boy Trey, and we're here, First Formation Morning Sports Talk. So come on and fall in with us this morning as we get to covering some of the interesting things that have happened in sports over the course of the weekend. When we last left, of course, we know the NBA free agency period was live in effect as you get closer to the coming days in which they close it off and the contracts get guaranteed and signed. So plenty to talk about. So I'll give a chance for everyone to get into the formation so we can get started. I hope everyone had a gracious and good 4th of July, Independence Day, got their fireworks pop, maybe had some good food. Feel free to let us know what you did with your 4th of July weekend. Maybe we could live a little vicariously through you all. But yes, we have plenty of things jam packed coming up for this coming week, as well as next week. Plenty of going on. Always something going on in the world of sports. So come on, come on, come on. Give y'all a couple of minutes before I get into it. Uh, and we have certain conversations. Good morning, Key. What's going on with you? How you doing? How you doing this morning? Glad to see you in formation. Mm-mm. How was your weekend this weekend? Mm-mm. So, of course, as we get ready to get started fully in a few seconds, being I don't know that life yet, Key, but I understand. I fully understand. What's good morning, Frat? What's going on, Lestante? How you doing this morning, sir? Glad to see you in formation. Don't worry, Key. You might not have got paid for that, but you should be able to claim it as a community service. Uh, so go ahead, just claim it as a community service, so you can continue to build them hours. I know you must have did some grilling over the weekend. So of course, as I stated, to get into some of the things that happened, uh, of course, we like to extend our prayers to the victims of the families of the tragic Highland Park shooting that happened in Illinois over the weekend during their Independence Parade. Of course, what has been reported so far is 6 dead, over 20 injured in another careless act. Um, Currently have no motives. I believe they have the shooter in custody now, although he has not been charged yet. But of course, in not too far from the Chicago community, which encompasses the Chicago plenty of organizations, Chicago Bulls. You got to think about Illinois is chock full of sports organizations with the Bulls, the Red Sox, correction, the White Sox, the Cubs, the Blackhawks, and the Bears. Uh, uh, yeah, so it's same times are changing, but of course, we still pray for and stand with the Chicago community and like the Highland community in Illinois as they go through deal through the tragedy that has happened over the weekend. So again, our prayers with all the victims. and their loved ones. Um, Moving on to a bit of a little more of a lighter situation. The congratulations in order to the Birmingham Stallions as they defeat the Philadelphia Stars 33-30 in what was the USFL's first an inaugural championship game for their 2022 season. I guess you could call it a reboot. Birmingham uh, kind of led the way throughout the course of the year, holding it down for a while. They were overtaken by the New Jersey Generals at one point in their ranking system, and then, but of course, Philadelphia Stars handled New Jersey during their semifinal game, and of course Birmingham took care of business in their semifinal game against the New Orleans Breakers, and but that's what put them up against each other. What's good this morning, Calvin? How you doing, sir? Glad to see you in formation. Um, it basically put them in position and on and where they were locked in head to head, and like I said, it was a close one. Philadelphia losing 33-30, giving Birmingham the win. Of course, as we know it, um, this was an inaugural season of the USFL, which means they will have to face off against the XFL as the next season, as the XFL plans to start their inaugural season or rebooted season next year. Of course, we know the XFL is NFL backed in the sense as they have a lot of partnerships and initiatives going on with the NFL. But Birmingham, correction, the UFL basically stated that they are here to stay and have a lot more in store. As a couple of things that they have is if you have paid attention or watched the USL for the majority of the year, they played all their games in the inaugural season in Birmingham, which of course, interestingly enough, gave Birmingham maybe a slight bit of home cooking or correction home field advantage. But however, they did play the semifinal games and the championship game in Canton, Ohio. But Birmingham was able to pull it out at the in state. Next year, they look forward to extending that footprint to additionally three other markets in which to give which will basically put it in perspective to where they will be playing in four of the teams markets in the first year, and then of course looking to expand it a couple of years from now. So, congratulations to the Birmingham Stallions, USFL champions 2022. And what's good, Bishop? What's going on with you this morning, brother?
Well, WGO, what's good, man? What's good? How y'all living today, man? It's that Tuesday. What's up? What's up, Leslie?
What's good, Leslie?
What up, Key? Stanton? Alvin? What's good with everybody, man? How y'all doing this morning, man, on this Tuesday?
Oh, pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Yeah, I know
Just going over.
a lot has
Yeah, just
happened.
going over a couple of the congratulatories in order. Um, Coach Birmingham and the USFL, congratulations to them.
Yeah,
Uh,
they won that little Super Bowl or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Additionally, congratulations to Israel Asande, who retained his UFC middleweight championship belt after defeating Jared Cannonier in the UFC for the unanimous decision in the 5 round bout, uh, um, making UFC 276 a main event of all right one. I didn't get a chance to catch it because I was traveling, but I did see that read or see where it said it wasn't that exciting. There was, by the third or fourth round, fans were booing because there wasn't really any real engagement. But of course, you have it like that. I don't know. I know everyone wants to see something and say and feel like they're
They want to see
in the
a
fight. Yeah, they want to feel a battle, but when you got certain things on the line, it's a little bit different if you're in that circle.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be very cautious on what you do. You try not to make mistakes. And the less man, whoever makes mistakes is the one that's gonna get caught off guard and end up getting
Hmm.
knocked out. So yeah, when you got two people,
Try to show out for your fans and
find
get
yourself
slept.
in a on a gurney for real. Yeah,
So plenty going on in this NBA free agent season. I go
Serious
through. Yeah, I
carousel.
go the carousel. Yes, I go through a couple of some of the things that happened, and then double back to where there's really juicy at in Petito. So of course, um, one thing, Charlotte had rescinded its offer to for Miles Bridges after he was formally charged with felony domestic violence in Los Angeles. At one point, Miles was one of the coveted free agents of the NBA offseason as he was looking at was seeing where he was going to be moved to. Now he's not being moved anywhere. Presumably, they rescinded their offer, and we're going to wait and see what basically happens with Mr. Bridges. Charlotte re-signs Cody Martin to a 4-year, $32 million deal. Um, as he gets a little bag for himself. Dallas re-signed Theo Pinson to a 1-year deal. Uh, Denver signs Bruce Bowen, wing from Brooklyn, 2 years, $13 million. Golden State re-signs Kevin Looney, center for 3 years, $25 million. Who else got signed? Oh, additionally, Golden State signed guard Dante Vincenzo, 2 years, $9.3 million. So basically, it look like Golden State is just restocking and maybe getting better. I don't know. It remains to be seen. Miami re-signed center Dwayne Dedmon, 2 years, $9 million. New York resigns their center, Mitchell Robinson, 4 years, $60 million, in which they also picked up backup center Isaiah Harrison from the Clippers, who they signed for 2 years, $16 million. Orlando resigns center Mo Bamba, 2 years, $21 million. Phoenix picks up Damian Lee. As we all know, Damian Lee is the brother-in-law of Steph and Seth Curry. Uh, Basically Damian Lee, Josh Okogie, and also re-signed center Bismack Biyombo, all on 1-year deals to bolster the Phoenix bench. Toronto signs Otto Porter Jr. to a 2-year deal, as well as brings back Thaddeus Young on a 1-year deal. Um, so that is some of the free agents, but of course, there's plenty more. When you look at some of the more engaging things that's been going on in the NBA, of course, we know Minnesota picks up Brian Forbes in free agency, as well as the mega deal that went on over the weekend, which we'll get back to in a second. Um, Boston. Well, you know what? Hold up. We'll just go ahead and get into that part right now because some other things that has happened that are that is making a difference. So, of course, as I stated, the mega deal, or mega trade, somewhat. I don't know. Can we see it as a mega trade when it was like maybe a little off sorts? So, what happened over the weekend? Of course, the weekend, if you haven't paid attention, which I'm very sure you all have, Minnesota and
Utah.
Memphis. Yeah, of course. I don't know why I'm saying Memphis. Minnesota and Utah got together and made a trade happen. Timberwolves received center Rudy Gobert, which we had a conversation just the other day, which we was asking
Right.
like
Yeah.
like who would go first.
Right.
But Minnesota receives Rudy
And I think I
Gobert.
said Rudy. I
Yes,
said Rudy
you did
go
say
first.
Rudy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Minnesota gets Rudy Gobert uh, for the Jazz, and the Jazz receives Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverly, Leandro Bomero, newly acquired Walker Kessler, Jared Vanderbilt, 2023 first round pick, 2025 first round pick, 2026 pick swap, 2027
They
first
sold.
round
They
pick,
sold.
and a 2029 first round pick
They sold. They sold.
for the Jazz. So did they? Do you think they
Man,
did
that's a
really?
lot. Yeah, for
It
Rudy.
is. It is a lot. It
You don't
is
think
a
that's
lot.
a lot for Rudy Gobert?
So
Honestly, you think that's a lot for Rudy Gobert? We talking
it
Rudy Gobert.
So I guess you would look at like what are they putting around them? They still got D'Angelo they still got all their starters.
Facts.
And they just and hell, they didn't even replace. Like basically, that's all they traded him for the most part was for. I mean, Malik Beasley was the only real piece in which they probably gave
First,
up. I understand
right.
Patrick Beverly is here and there, but they gave up Malik Beasley, a couple of first round picks that they picked up. Oh, well, I think Walker Kessler. No, Walker Kessler was a first round pick, so he might turn into something. But for the most part, they basically leveraged what could have been their future, but
Mm-hmm.
they did it in a way to where they just may have bolstered their team. You have a defensive anchor,
Mm-hmm.
3 time defensive player of the year,
Mm-hmm.
recent defensive player of the year.
Of
Not
the year.
saying
Are you?
it ain't like
Yeah.
he got defensive player of the year like 5 years
Four or
ago
five
of
years ago.
recent.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
recent. Yes.
and within the recent 5 years, he's got 2 or 3 of them. So I mean,
Right.
or 2 of them at least. So
Right.
he's a defensive player of the year
Mm-hmm.
is going to anchor their defense.
Mm-hmm.
Now that might allow Cat to do differently. Now Cat goes from center to potentially power forward.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards still there, and D'Angelo is still there. So
Mm-hmm.
now there might be a little different, something different going on.
I mean, it could be. I do see. You know, what I'm saying they. Key said that he feels they're building around Mitchell, which is good. Again, now we're looking at another team who has a what are we talking about? A big three again.
Oh, they
Uh,
got more than a big three now.
yeah, they you know what I'm saying they got a squad for real out there in Minnesota. So
On paper, yeah, on
on
paper,
paper,
they
facts.
looking pretty
We
hella good
gotta
on
see
paper
how
right now.
we got to see how it's gonna play out. But on paper, yeah, they look like they got a decent squad. Now, like I said, do I feel like they sold for it? For the most part, I feel like that's a lot that they got for, like I said, for a Rudy Gobert. Um, but like we mentioned many times before, it could pan out for him and for the best. And
Hmm.
that could be major. That could be major for real for them. We
And
we
of
we
course,
all
in other news, we know the Celtics did make another trade as they traded for guard Malcolm Brogdon, which for a little nothing. Uh, Pacers give up Malcolm Brogdon and receive Daniel Theis, Aaron Nesmith, Malik Fitz, Nick Stakakis, Jawan Morgan, and a 2023 first round pick for the Virginia standout, as we was talking about the other day on Friday. How
Mhm.
Malcolm Brogdon was a role player. He did play a pretty good role. Now he goes to Boston, where now he's potentially a back. I mean, he's a backup off the bench, maybe, or does he start? Does Marcus Smart come off the bench? But they picked up
Good.
another point guard, basically, or a combo guard. So, interesting enough, Boston may have got a little bit better in their free agents so far.
Yeah, it's yet to be determined, man. That's a good question. Um, yeah, Boston
It's
trying to
gonna
find that
it's
missing piece. They trying to miss that.
con-
They trying to find that missing piece. Why does Minnesota need two centers on huge deals, moving Towns to the four?
that's exactly what's gonna go on. I think Townsend's getting moved to the four, or that has to be like you're not paying $250 million to have him back up, and you know what I'm saying you're not and they're not you're not going to additionally you're not going to pay him the supermax to have him sit. So at this point is I think is definitely a position where they're getting moved to the where he's getting moved to the four and or being pushed to be center in when they can relieve him. So it's definitely going to be that type of thing. But
But
Minnesota must have something brewing.
right, but I heard when the trade took place, I heard analysts talking about that. It could be good or it could be bad, and the
Hmm.
reason why it could be bad is because we're talking about we've mentioned before. The NBA has become a shooting from way beyond the 3-point line type league, and Minnesota with those two tall with Towns as well as Gobert, they can't defend anybody out there outside the perimeter, out there by the 3 point line. You're talking about two, might as well say 7 footers for the most part, trying to guard somebody out there by the 3 point line. That's not gonna work. That's why a lot of people feel like this is a bad pickup for Minnesota, because they feel like you went and got two. You have two twin towers now, who's not going to be able to do anything. Um, out what is that? They're in the West, right? Minnesota, yeah,
Yeah,
they're in the. Come on, against Golden State, against
but true that. But so additionally, what has happened? I think what they have done is they just added a bunch of wings. What's going on, Freddie? Good morning. So I think what they did, they added a lot of a bunch of athletic people with defensive athleticism defense. So thus now I know Bishop, you tend to be speaking about it a lot. Now the small, what presumably could be their starting lineup, the smallest wingspan in their lineup right now is 6'10". That's their smallest wingspan. The largest is 7'6" or 7'9". So
Got a
there's
wingspan. Mitchell,
who has a 6'10" wingspan.
yeah, Mitchell,
Uh,
because you Mitchell got a wingspan that's 6'10" or higher.
no, for you talking about for Brooklyn? I mean for Minnesota now.
Yeah,
It's I couldn't see who the other starter was, but it's it might be, was it, who was it? I don't know. Was it D'Angelo? Someone has a six. I think it was D'Angelo. He has a 6'10" wingspan. So no, it's not D'Angelo, because I stand corrected. The smallest is a 6'9" wingspan, which
okay.
I think that is D'Angelo Russell's. So I mean D'Angelo. So he has a 6'9" wingspan. Of course, we know the largest wingspan belongs to
Rudy Gobert, probably.
Rudy Gobert, but basically it's 6'9" and above for a wingspan for their whole for their what can be possibly their starting lineup.
Mm.
So that's you said
You
that's
think
huge.
that,
So
and you feel
recovery.
like that's gonna be, yeah, okay. And I was what I was getting on.
Yeah, recovery. Basically recovery. Like, okay, yeah, I get beat. Closeouts maybe, because you got to think that makes it hard. It should make it hard for for interior scoring if that's the case. Unless I mean, of course, there's going to be people that match that, but not everyone presumably on your offense is going to match that.
Mm.
So they might have added like we said, something that we don't see in the stat sheets when it comes down to defensive efforts and stuff like that playing,
Mm.
which means that now you hit, like you said, two centers, twin towers, definitely twin towers
Absolutely.
now in Minnesota, in the in that region. uh, like you said, on paper it looks like it's going to be
It
a
breathes well.
hellacious.
Yeah,
It
it
does.
breathes
It breathes well. It breathes well. Truly,
well.
truly, truly. So now you have that, like you said, in Boston. Uh, you now have in Boston. You now have Malcolm Brogdon, who now he adds to their bench and their depth. We always figured they had depth already. Now it's presumably he adds a little more uh, to their depth. So it's it's getting a little interesting. But I mean, but wait, there is a
More.
little bit more. Um, uh, of course, New Orleans extended their presumable All Star superstar Zion Wilson with the Supermax deal, giving him 5 years, $193 million. That can balloon to 231 million. And with this, what do you think New Orleans ceiling is? Do they get past the first round this year? Do they just get in the play in and make a buzz, or do they get in? Like, what do you see New Orleans ceiling with Zion in tow now?
So let me say this, right?
Okay.
Y'all do know I wasn't here on Friday. I tried to jump in for a little bit, but I was having technical difficulties trying to catch my flight because I was out of town. I went to Tennessee for my family reunion, bro. My
Mm-hmm.
little brother, my youngest brother, um, played college basketball. He had a scholarship. He actually had a scholarship. I forget the name of the school he went to, but he had a scholarship for college basketball. So we actually, he's probably my height or maybe a little taller, but so he knows basketball too. He's a great, good, very good basketball player and stuff like that. And he and a bunch of other of my family members also was like, how is it that you're paying a gentleman, and
Mm,
it's a great deal similar
mm,
to Deshaun Watson. You
hmm.
played this man, and he hasn't played an entire. You paying him a great deal of money, and he has not played an entire season yet.
82
Not
games in 3 years.
in an entire. There, thank you. In an entire season yet, and you paying this dude over $250 million.
So,
I
so what are the conversations? I think we talked about this briefly before.
and we
From
did. We
what
talked about this
from what
a while ago
the
about him.
GM, yeah,
Yeah,
from what their GM says,
right.
Griffin, what he said is he when he does play, he's an immense talent. And so he feels that it's justified to pay him 193 million over the next 5 years, or to 230 million possibly over the next 5 years, even though he has only played a total of cumulatively 82 games in three
In three,
years. He's only played a basketball season in
exactly.
3 years. Um, they said he felt like that it made sense. It was justifiable for it to pay
Does
him
it make
because he
sense to y'all?
performs.
Does it make sense to you, Trey? Does it make sense to anybody else
Oh,
watching?
you know how I feel. You know, we is not getting down like that, fam. Like, yo,
That's my
like
thing. Like,
we could have
I
set up and extended you 1 year on a nice contract and set up
mhm,
and it could have been a play me year. But of course, we know that's not how it gets down. If they had did that, he would have missed his opportunity to get the supermax and the extension, and it would have been a whole debacle. But yeah, you know how I feel. That type of stuff we had to sub. But I mean, they had to pull the trigger. They wasn't able to. It was at that time. So all his counterparts got extended. It's like he got extended too.
now don't get me wrong. I'm sure he's gonna come in and he probably will make a difference for that team. Now he got CJ McCollum and stuff like that. So I could see it, but I don't know. I don't know how you throw that much money at somebody who's only played 82 games in 3 seasons. When they have it, one season has 82 games. I mean, amongst that many games in one season, you've done that. It took you 3 seasons to do that. But will it make a difference? I feel like it will. To answer your question, Trey, your initial question, yeah, I feel like I do. I think I said this numerous times back, and even when we talked about it months ago,
Mm-hmm.
about Zion. And when I mentioned months ago about Zion, I felt like they should have been started. I felt like, remember I told y'all
He
I
should have been
felt like he
playing.
should have been playing because all these videos we seen him dunking and all of that. I felt like he should have been getting some playing time. Whether or not it was a full game of him playing, I don't know, but I did feel like he should have got some type of playing time. So I think he's going. I don't feel like he's going to be a Greg Oden. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. I think that's what a lot of people are in fear of, that he's going to be the next Greg Oden. But I don't think he's. I don't think I don't think he's that dude. I don't. I feel like he's going to come back. I feel like he could possibly change, you know, the dynamics for the Pelicans. And like I said, with the addition of CJ McCollum, I feel like they can make some things happen out there in New Orleans.
Mm. So, additionally, of course, in Cleveland, another extension. Cleveland extends guard Darius Garland with the Supermax 5 years, same deal, 5 year, 193 million, with the possibility to become 231 in the seasons. Additionally, they also signed guard Ricky Rubio, 3 years, $18 million. Guard Raul Neto signs for a year, and also brought in free agent center Robin Lopez, who signs for a year as well, which now possibly makes guard Colin Sexton expandable. I don't know what they go forth and do. I think they would have to sign him as well. Or I'm not saying Supermax, but might have to pay him handsomely in order to keep him in Cleveland, in which they might already sign. Bringing in Rubio and Neto maybe might it's not going to replace his what he can do or what he's seen to do, but it might it might cause a problem, and we might see Sexton being moved and going to somewhere else or on the trading block. Um, Portland, of course, offers guard Damian Lillard a 2 year, $100 million extension. Not to But Dame says that's not a guarantee that he would even do that until he sees what's going on in the off season
which
for
I don't blame.
Portland.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I don't.
So far, Portland has resigned center Nurkic for 4 years, $70 million. Additionally, they did sign center Drew Eubanks, Gary Payton II, and re-signed guards Anthony Simons so far since free agency has started. So I guess those don't say moves that get me to stay. If that was
Mm-hmm.
the case, I guess unless you're in the Portland locker room and you believe that okay, yeah, this dude is pretty good and he's an asset. I'm very sure we all know Nurkic is an asset to them. It was him, McCullough, and Dame before McCullough left, and Nurkic had to sit out, and Dame basically had to end up sitting out as well. But Bishop, you saying you don't blame Dame at all?
Nah, you can't blame Dame, man. They done sold, they done gave CJ away. Dame, like you say, Dame has been in Portland now. How long? 8 seasons, 9 seasons.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta. Yeah, for me, like again, it goes back to someone with what's up, Mike? What's going on, Coach Mars?
Good morning, Coach Myers.
Again, it goes back to what I said before, which I spoke about last week. Trey, is it about the money, or is it about the
Mm.
championship? Obviously for Dame, it's about the championship. It ain't about the money. You know what I'm saying? So I don't blame him. You know what I'm saying? After being in one city, one state for 8, 9 seasons, yeah, I need to see what y'all finna put around me. Y'all gave away my right hand, or my left hand rather, whichever one it is, his non-dominant hand. Y'all gave him away. Now I'm kind of starting over from scratch. Not saying none of the other guys are good ball players or anything of that nature. Definitely not saying that, but come on, man, he needs something, and he needs something to make him want to stay. And I'm sure once CJ left, Dame was already probably on the fence about talking about leaving himself. So, in my opinion, yeah, I do not blame Dame whatsoever. What y'all bringing in here?
So I guess I can agree. I definitely see your point. Uh, but you know what? It's crazy. So when we do those things, though, like we're having this conversation where it's like, okay, if you, I want to see what the off season moves are, right?
Hmm.
Which I believe you have your right, especially if you haven't, if you're just committed for a year or so. But it's like these teams can go out doing what they believe is going to keep these players here.
Hmm.
And then next thing you know, it doesn't keep the player, and you leave, and you're left holding the bag of what you're saying, what you brought in, what you thought you could have made differently. So I honestly, I would just make moves. If you're not committed completely, I understand. I'm going to make the moves that I feel are going to be best. I think my moves will be best set on making moves that are going to be help us whether you're here or not. Can't make them around you because if you decide to leave, you basically I've done everything. We're based the future off the fact of you're going to be there, in which you can leave or you can request a trade or you can sit out, and then now it's a bad look. So I think I would be more so open to making my moves based upon the fact of these players aren't there.
But don't you have to build your team around somebody? You have to
To a
build your team.
degree, but
I
I said, like I said,
mean,
my and that's why I said my moves will be based upon like okay, I can understand building around you, but I'm making moves so that way if you aren't there, whether it be injury or you decide to to leave the organization, that I have something that could remotely, I guess you could say, keep the ship afloat until I find somebody else. So let's say in the case of where we all have heard the rumors that LeBron wanted Westbrook, right? Or he advised Westbrook.
mhm.
If LeBron decides to leave, then that leaves me with Westbrook. So maybe that isn't a bad thing. But let's say, for
Right.
instance, if
So now
LeBron wanted,
you building around Westbrook instead of LeBron because you thought
yeah.
was gonna be
So
here.
let's say, for instance, that LeBron wanted another twin tower in Rudy Gobert. right,
Okay.
instead of Westbrook, and we go out and get Gobert. Now we have Gobert and AD, right?
Hmm. And you lose one of them.
We lose LeBron. Now we're left with AD and Gobert,
You build
two big
around it.
men. Yeah,
You
yeah,
still build
but
around it.
yeah, you
And
can build around that, but that's not. It's
it,
not.
would
I mean, that's
Westbrook
too.
there?
That's huh?
Would Westbrook still be there or no?
No, Westbrook wouldn't have been there.
Then it would have been he would have been a part of the trade.
Yeah, or he wouldn't. He just wouldn't have came because we wouldn't have got Rudy Gobert instead, and they can bring in Westbrook. So now we have AD and Gobert. So what happens if we all hear conversations about what AD? What happens if AD decides like, oh, my man's gone. I'm gonna go ahead and go home. I'm gonna go
Right.
home and play for Chicago. Now you got Gobert, and now it's like, well, shit. What do we do now? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not too many. It's not too many organizations that build around a center,
Hmm.
especially a center that's not a go getter and scorer. Is a defensive anchor. So it's like, now what do we do at this point? It's like, so you know what I'm saying, that type of thing can leave you in flux. So we're like, okay, yeah, he's a good player. He could be beneficial to us, but can we build around that? Like, we have to go and redo a whole. We're not even building an offense around him, where he's our defensive anchor. No, he's our defensive stalwart. So what do you do? So that type of stuff, and what I look at about it, like, yeah, it's true, you build around players, but some players you is I think there's a better fit in some instances, and so I would be looking for what would be a good fit for that player. But additionally, if that player isn't there, they can be they're a perfect fit for the organization in general. And which could be a little bit hard, and it might not be the people in which you might want to go after might not be
Hmm.
there, or you might not be able to get. So, but just to sit up and go out because you sit up and tell me like, "Hey Trey, I want to play with I want to play with Cornelius Cole."
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But if Cornelius Cole, Anthony Price might have been the better fit. So as opposed to go and get Cornelius, I bring
Hmm.
you Anthony, who, you
Hmm.
know what I'm saying, who can go get it. You know what I'm saying? He's not that he can take care of business. So if you decide to walk out because you feel like we're not doing what's better fit for you in your career, then maybe Anthony can go ahead and pick up the torch and continue to run with it while you go ahead and
Which
run
is
with it
possible.
somewhere else.
Right, which is
Yeah.
possible.
So that's why
Saying
yeah,
that he can't. Yeah, there's nothing saying he
yeah,
couldn't do. You, it's just the
yeah.
fact that can he?
That's just you
Would he be
select
able to?
you prefer somebody else, you know what I'm saying? Or
Right,
you seeing someone else as a better a better option to run
right,
with you.
right.
So yeah, but like you said, in any case, small money markets, it's unfortunate.
Mm.
Uh in that case. What else would we have before we get into what really is going on? Okay. The talks center around your Brooklyn Nets. I've seen a
I'm
lot.
about the Nets now, man. I am.
I've seen a lot. At least we can say is there conversation. There's no conversations of Ben anymore. Although I know Ben, they said has shut down his social media platforms, and which I don't blame him because I'm not trying to be a part of none of this conversation.
Right.
Ain't got nothing to do with me. Don't be
Mhm.
bringing me in or drawing me in or pulling me into nothing that ain't got nothing to do with me. I seen where someone put up a meme with the backboard shattered. And it's like this is going to be being after, this is what the backboard in Brooklyn is going to look like after being in Westbrook go have a workout session. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So why you're saying like this man, and he didn't request a trade. He's where he's at. He's rehabbing. Let him be beat until he comes up and he shows that he still can shoot when during this season coming up.
And
But
I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping, what happens for the Nets, man. I hope they don't deal Russ. I mean, not Russ.
Kyrie
Katie.
and
Katie. I hope
KD,
you know. Yeah, I hope there's no deal comes through. I hope no deals come through. They figure it out. I hope it's something similar, almost to what's going on with Baker Mayfield and how things are. That no deal goes through. Nobody wants to pull the trigger for that deal, and they both end up staying right there in Brooklyn. That's my hopes, man. I really do. But I will say, like I said in the beginning, I am tired of hearing about it. I said I said it was going to happen. I think that was Thursday. I called Trey Thursday afternoon after the show. when I heard, because I said it right here on first I'd be surprised now that Kyrie has opted in. I said I would not be surprised if KD decides to leave Brooklyn now. And sure enough, I said it that day. And sure enough, that same day, that Thursday evening, breaking news: Kyrie demands a trade. I said I'd be damned. I knew it was coming. I just knew
So
it.
of course, for me, out of all the trade room, I despise the trade rumors, but they're entertaining. And so, of
Yeah,
course, for me, the most entertaining one, of course, that I wouldn't mind seeing is sending KD and Kyrie both to Los Angeles, in which we know it's not going to
that would
happen.
be man. Hey man, I'm about to get off of here, man. I'm about to be out there. I'm about to get off.
That would be ideal. Can you
That would
think that?
not be ideal. How is that ideal?
Why would that
How
be
got that?
ideal? Why
Why would
would that be ideal?
so what? So y'all giving up 80
AD
in,
and Westbrook.
no, Westbrook is already there. He's not going nowhere. Obviously, we see Ed Westbrook is staying right where he's from. Like you say, he's from California. Stay where you at. You at home. Stay where you at. He's from California. Played for UCLA, didn't he?
He
Didn't
did
he
play for
play?
UCLA.
Stay where you at. Stay where you at. You don't. Don't give him to us. We good.
Hey,
Stay.
if UCLA is on the move, Westbrook could be on the move too.
No, the UCLA. This ain't football. We talk
We get to that just soon enough. But
basketball.
yes, so you know say, but you know say that would you know say
No,
that
don't
would have
do it.
been
I
that would
promise.
have been
I promise. I'm gonna
a
stop watching basketball for the rest of my life if that.
like I said, being a huge fan of
No.
battle rap. If KD and Kyrie would have went
Mm-mm,
to LA in the trade, that would have
mm-mm.
been a
Don't do
room
it.
shaker for
No,
real.
don't do it.
But
I
you
don't
know,
think
sorry,
KD would want to play with
LeBron.
LeBron. I don't. I don't think because I'm gonna be honest with you, right? That Brooklyn experience never felt real. I feel you, Jay. I feel you. I feel you. And a lot of that I blame on Kyrie. But my thing about it right is I'm about to I'm about to put, and I never thought I was going to ever have to do this, but I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm
Mhm.
gonna have to put KD in the same boat as LeBron.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and jumping from team to team to try and get a championship, bro. I'm really
Oh,
gonna have to do that, bro. I really feel like I'm gonna have to do that because this is ridiculous. Especially if he goes to LA. If he goes to LA, he has to go in the same conversation as LeBron James. He
so
has, in my opinion.
what
Yeah.
I have heard is for one I don't think obviously he's going to go to LA only because supposedly there has been a talks and conversation that LA doesn't want to come off AD. So of course we know without AD,
Ooh,
with no AD, there's no chance that he's going that
KD.
KD can get there without AD.
Yeah.
Honestly. So
Mhm.
that's but you know what I'm saying the talks continue supposedly that there is the trade is going to possibly be Westbrook and Kyrie. But in any case,
I
of
don't
course,
know why would Kyrie want to go back and play with John when he would go back and play with James when he already left James out there in Cleveland to go to Boston. What is the? I
but
don't
he
get
has
that.
what has he done since he's left James?
Because it's well, he went to Boston. Boston did make the Brian KD should play. I don't either. I don't either. I totally don't. I don't feel like they should.
Again,
But
we have to remove the thought of them playing together and institute
why?
and institute the thought of LeBron's about to be gone. We need someone to pick up
Oh,
the
you talking about
mantle in LA.
future, future man,
Yeah,
future.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what that comes out to be. Like, okay, we may not want to do it, but if, from a future standpoint, before I get too far in my prime or out of my prime, this
Mhm.
makes sense. And I think that's what we're talking. What you're looking at. It's just like you said, what LA does. But you know, saying uh,
Absolutely should. You feel me? You feel me? Or
that's basically what we're looking at. But I mean, then you have additional other things where we seen. I know one thing is my understanding is KD would rather play with one or two teams. Even that now that who was that? Um, I forgot. It'll come to me in a second. But I know one or two teams. It was one of two teams, but then a team made some deals, and so that removed that, and they brought back. Oh, I think it was Phoenix, but when they decided to play um, Booker the max, that kind of like Starworth to put some things on hold. But of course, he's had conversations and playing with. And said he would like to play with Toronto or Miami, but of course, in him playing Toronto, his one of the things he said is that if he went to Miami, that the any deals could not be centered around Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, or Kyle Lowry. So it's like, okay, who we trading then? Like who are if you want to keep them three there, who are you trading to get you at that point? And
That part.
and then additionally, he's like in Toronto, he said he would go to Toronto, but in going to Toronto, they would have to keep Pascal Siakam, Chris Boucher, and Van Fleet. And it's
Mhm.
like again, like who are we trading for then? Who is there except for Gary Trent Jr.? I mean, he can go. He's a go getter. But besides that, who are we playing for? Like who are we getting for any of these people in which you have to with conversations? So in
Right.
my opinion, doubling back, the best ideal is L.A.
Mm, mm. I,
Or like you said, more than one a 3-4 team trade.
yeah. I don't know, man. Listen, Jay. You ever had
This
a girl that does absolutely everything you want? It don't last. Yeah, Jay is crazy, man. You ever what did Zach say? Crazy thing is, Nets gave KD everything he wanted. Went there for his best friend, asked for a coach, and Steve Nash and got that. Things didn't go to plan, and now he wants out. The Nets did everything to keep him happy. I mean, I like to say, when it's all said and done, Zach, I feel like
you feel
uh,
like it's because of
Kyrie,
Kyrie.
Kyrie's fault. All that's
You think
Kyrie, and
everything points to Kyrie?
everything point. Everybody says that it points to Kyrie. He did that. What trade value can the Lakers offer for KD and Kyrie? I think that's towards you, Trey and Anthony. Probably
Well, the only thing they actually have is whatever they can manage as far as their draft picks that they haven't salvaged off already. Additionally, AD, Westbrook, Kendrick Nunn, Tyler
mm,
Horton, Tucker, Tyler Horton Tucker,
mhm.
for Kyrie, uh, KD, and in my opinion, Seth or their other shooter. In my opinion, that's what it would be.
Okay, I like it. Honestly, the Suns have the best package available. They could pair KD with CP3 and Booker and still give up good assets.
Possibly.
Mm.
Well,
I
they
like
had
that.
to sign. They had to sign and trade Aiden, which is in my opinion, we know they're not moving Booker. CP3, you would believe they're not moving. So the only other piece, and I mean, they have Bridges, but I'm very sure they wouldn't want to move him either. But they could if you're bringing in KD. The only other piece that they got that's not even secure for them yet is DeAndre Aiden.
Right. Yep. That's
So
I mean, yeah, yeah. What else we got? Zach, you say it. You say it like they shouldn't. Oh, yeah, yeah. Like I said, KD to the Warriors again. That has been talk.
that's been a conversation, but
That
why?
has definitely been talk.
But why?
Why not? I mean, why not? You saying okay again? How can you say why? You see that
So,
boy?
so the
That
reason,
boy
no,
Trey is
so real,
something else,
I'm
man.
speaking, I'm speaking from a
That
pure,
boy, that boy
I'm
Trey is
speaking
something
from the
else.
place, I'm speaking from a place of a pure analyst is
Uh-huh.
why would he go back to Golden State?
Why would he go? Why
I
would
can
he go to
understand.
LA? Or no, no. I'm sorry, no. The same reason why you said Kyrie to go back to play with LeBron. Why? Remember, same thing. It's the same thing.
But the conversation has been that LeBron and Kyrie want to play with one another.
You don't think Kyrie? You don't think AD? I mean, not AD. KD and Steph want to play with each other again?
No.
Oh, I don't believe that. I don't believe that one bit. They had a great
Mm.
relationship. The only person that KD probably don't want to play with it is a Draymond. I totally don't believe that. I believe he does. But Bishop, don't let James Harden escape on this. We haven't seen James Harden in like 3 years. That is true. That is true. But I do feel like this, Jay. I'm gonna be completely honest. I feel like James Harden is gonna do better than Westbrook this upcoming season. Even though he probably did better than him this season, just past, I guess, by a slight bit. But I think we're going to see a better Russ. I mean, a better Harden than we will see a better Russ, in my opinion. My opinion.
That's interesting you say that because I was about to say I definitely believe you're going to see a good, a better
Russ?
Russ than. I'm not saying that it would be better than James Harden. I just think you're going to see a better Russ, which is like at this point I'm fine with keeping Russ because I think he has something left, and he,
Mm-hmm.
had, saying like you said last year was just a bad pairing.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, now you have
Mm-hmm.
a different coach that's going to probably expect more. I'm not
Right.
saying that Vogel did not, but it's a different ideology. I think it's a different
Which
respect
could be a
level.
huge part.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. It
So you
could
know, what I'm
be.
saying so it's going to be completely different. So I think
Yeah.
that's what's going to be able to. Um, I think that's what's going to be ideal for Russ. But of course, if you have an opportunity to get younger
Mm-hmm.
and be still be better, do be good or better, then
Mm-hmm.
you take a shot at that. And sometimes there's casualties in that. And in this case, it might be Russ leaving home after he opted in, leaving home and having to be shipped out to Brooklyn, all the way on the other side of the coast
Mm-hmm.
country, and now be put there, in which is now like, okay, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so that is why I look at it as where Russ might be better than last year. It's odd how all this conversation centers around the three players that shouldn't have moved from their initial home anyway.
Right.
Like y'all should have stayed in Oklahoma, OKC, and then
It is crazy.
Bishop
These same
Probably
people.
would be an OKC fan. Like, you know what?
No.
I'm already a
Oh,
Sooner.
Sooners
Like
fan? No.
I might as well be a
I like
Thunder
OKC. I ain't gonna lie. I like OKC, but I will always be I was always even when even when I was little, I was like
when
a
that was
Knicks.
Jersey.
Yeah, to be honest, I was a Knicks fan. I was a huge
Oh,
Knicks fan.
okay.
And
So
then I
Brooklyn moving into the actual state just made you
made it better.
transition.
Made it better.
Okay.
Yeah, gave me another team to pick. But I'm gonna tell you, I was a when a young kid, I was a Knicks fan, and then of course, like everybody else, when the Jordan era came around, I was a
Which is so
Chicago Bulls.
interesting as I sit back and look at the colors that are in place behind you. That explains so much. That explains so much.
I was a huge Knicks fan, but then the Jordan era, I went into the Chicago Bulls fan, and I did all of that and so forth. So and then I went once the Chicago era came in and went, then I went over to kind of like the Brooklyn kind of sort of area. But yeah, I did always like Oklahoma, but I do understand where you're coming from, Trey, in regards to the three people who was in Oklahoma is the three people who everybody talking about right now to this day. And they all three of them were once teammates. And matter of fact, Westbrook and Harden were teammates twice in two different cities and states. So in Houston and in OKC. So
And hell,
uh
and then Harden and KD later
oh,
on
and
in
Harden
Brooklyn.
yeah, so it's crazy, right? It's obvious
It's
that
like
these two
this. It's like
yeah,
everything's a separation of
yeah,
OKC because
yeah.
presumably we're talking about a conversation where Westbrook could be traded in with Hart with Kyrie. I mean with KD to go to be somewhere else. So interesting enough, but
It is.
I guess
It
yeah,
is.
I digress. Um,
Headquarters they should but him wanted to leave all that shows he doesn't care about the team
mm,
about the team. You ask for all this, you should be loyal enough to see it out.
mm.
And we talk about loyalty a lot, Zach, in regards to teammate. I think me and Trey actually got into a conversation about loyalty before in regards to players and should they be loyal to the team? Should they be loyal to the front office? Should they be loyal to the teammates, their friends?
Be
Um,
loyal to yourself and say because if I GM, I don't worry about how loyal you are to your team. That's
right.
the last of my slate. I'm looking at how do I build this team to keep my
Mhm.
job and stay loyal to myself. So if there's a angle to where we could do that to where it all lines up is a perfect storm for that, I'm all
Mhm.
for it. But at the end state is I'll be the first when you come, when you sign, you will probably see a big sign over my head in my office that says "Be loyal to self." So you understand what it is when you walk into this office and possibly a part of this organization. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can have a, you'll know where you stand with me as conversations. You'll know, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it 100 with you, but at the end state, be loyal to yourself because you never know what's going to happen.
In the long run. I can agree to that. I can agree to that. Jay Ness says if James Harden gave them Andrew Wiggins production, this team goes way further. Totally agree. Totally agree. I think that's what the 70 I feel like that's what Philadelphia was looking for. They was looking for the James Harden of old to come into Philly and be productive alongside Embiid to give
But
them
do
that.
they really want the James Harden of old? Like,
Yeah,
Does the James
I'm
Harden
with
of
you.
old is the James Harden of old conducive to the Joel Embiid?
Embiid in
Yeah,
this, and I
yeah.
think it.
I don't think
I
it
know where you're
is.
going with that. Yeah, well, see, I know where you're going with that, Trey. So I totally get where you're coming from because the James Harden of old is more of a ball dominant type of guy. I get it. Um, but I feel like if you can get the James Harden of old along with Embiid, I feel like they could maybe figure it out. But it's hard to say that because again, just the example you made when he with freaking Westbrook and KD. So I get where you're coming from. It does sound like, damn, do I want that James Harden? Because when he had one of the biggest big threes that you could possibly have, they couldn't figure it out. So you might have you I mean,
He
yeah.
probably the James Harden he is becoming, as me and Ron talked about this over the week on last week, is do you want the shooting guard James Harden or the point guard James Harden? Or the combo guard
Mm.
James Harden, like who do you want? And it's probably
And
best. And
you need the
honestly,
combo. You need the
it
combo.
honestly, yeah. Well, I don't know because I mean, I think the combo. You know what? It's like going back and forth where you're like, okay, am I this person or am I that person? And it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You don't want Mr.
Mm,
Hyde to. You don't want Mr. Hyde to come out. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Because you ain't no telling what's going to happen. As long as Dr. Jekyll's there, you know he has one objective, and that's the objective. When Mr. Hyde come out, you don't know what the hell you're gonna get. And so, do you want that in, you know, saying combo guard Harden or point guard Harden? At least you know a point guard Harden, you know he's going to be more inactive. He's going to be more adept to facilitate.
mm,
If you get
mm.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Harden, you ain't know he facilitation, step backs, you know what I'm saying? Overlooking Embiid in the post with the mouse in the house, like all that type of stuff. I don't know.
Mm, okay. Anthony says, like I said, trade Clay because you have Wiggins to replace him. Ooh, I don't agree with that one.
Come on,
Only
Clay.
reason I say no is because they were homegrown. I think that team should have the opportunity to retire together. Oh, are we talking about Harden,
Golden
Westbrook,
State.
and oh, Golden State? Okay, got you. I don't agree with that either. I'm with you, Jay Ness. I don't agree with trading Clay. I say leave that alone, man. If it ain't broke, why fix it? It ain't broke. It ain't. They were broke for a minute, and we see what happened. But once Clay
Oh
got
yeah,
back
yeah.
on the court,
That court, like that. I think that's one of the few organizations to where the loyalty lies very uh,
heavy,
heavy
very
between
heavily,
from the top
very heavy.
from the organization as well to the players. Because as you
That
said, as Jay just said, they were homegrown
that part.
together and they grown together. They grown into a championship caliber team,
Mhm.
and so with that core, it would be heavily thought about if they ever thought about breaking that core apart.
That part. I totally agree with you on that. Jay says my answer to loyalty is every team wants the best player. That means no matter how loyal they are to a certain player, that player still has a price tag and will shipped at the drop of a hat for the opportunity to get real players.
True
I
that.
like that. I like that,
That would
Jay.
be
I like
that
that,
would be me.
Jay. I like that, Jay.
Always looking.
I like that, Jay. Because when it's all said and done, it still goes back to the what I stated, and I've been stating, and I will always state what's more important to you, and that has it
Money
rocks
or the
hand in hand.
ring.
Yeah, it rocks hand in hand with loyalty, the money or the ring. Which one you loyal to? You loyal to getting that ring, or you loyal to filling up your bag? And I feel like what you said, Jay Ness, you couldn't have said it better. You and Trey keep saying James of old. All that happened was they didn't put him at the line 10 times a game. So 30 becomes 22, and he don't work to stay in shape. Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
I can true that. True that.
I can see that. I can see that, CC. I can see that. I can see that. And maybe this year, because a lot of people are talking about what CC is talking about James Harden. He didn't come in and he didn't come into the season the healthiest. Maybe he plans on fixing that this upcoming season to give Philadelphia a huge boost of energy to be something to talk about this upcoming season. We'll see that. But I like that, CC. I like that because he wasn't going to the line. He wasn't getting them calls he was normally getting. He wasn't knocking down 30. He was averaging 22, even though I think he still was leading scorer this season. But yeah, like that.
Hey, so we get him.
We get MVP Harden this year. Oh, really? Really? Okay. Ooh,
Two
that's
MCs can't occupy the same space at the same time.
that's
So
true.
so we're not going if to have to get MVP Harden means that score what's that scoring champion MB can't be prevalent. That means that up and coming Tyrese Maxey can't be prevalent. That is not as so. I think you have to settle for All Star MVP. All Star James Harden for it all to be able to
That's when
come
you got
together and work.
a Ja Morant that was coming off doing the things in which he was doing before he had a few setbacks because of injuries, and then you got the Joker doing his man. It's gonna be a lot for him to try and get MVP, bro. It's gonna be a lot, and then Giannis. Come on, it's gonna be a lot for him to get MVP right there alongside MVP runner up Embiid. Come on, man. It's gonna be a lot.
Yeah, it's going
Be a lot.
to get that Harden is going to be hellacious. And I mean,
Yeah,
in any case, like you said, because with
it
the
can happen.
landscape, everyone, yeah, not to say that can't happen. I just don't know if that's who you really want.
Yeah,
I don't think that Harden meshes well with that team,
that
unless
Harden
it's
is the Harden in which Trey was just talking about. The
yeah.
gentleman, the hot Harden. For him to get MVP, he would have to go back to the old Harden. That's the only way I feel like what Trey was just talking about.
Which Cornelius feels that he's always been the same Harden. It's just that he didn't get to the line as
That part. Yeah, I totally only way on. Yeah. Oh, who was this? The only way Harden gets to MVP if he averages 10 assists a game. What's his turnover rate? Facts. True facts. I totally believe that. But and I feel like he's again, Jay, though, he's playing next to an MVP runner up. Like, come on, man. And Embiid, like that. I mean, he can get them assists, but will he get them points? Because I've never seen an MVP player have more assists than points and win MVP. I haven't. In my opinion, I don't think I've seen that. So, and I feel like, I don't know. It could possibly happen. We'll see.
that part is the offhand.
Yes. And he has to defend. And we know that's his weakness. That is his Achilles heel right there. Him defending. If Harden gives me 20 and 10, I'm cool with Harden. Okay. I'm sure anybody would be, Key.
Of course she is. She's a Philly fan. She's going to be honestly,
Yeah,
she's gonna be cool if he gives her 15 and 7,
10.
like
Yeah.
yeah, or 10 and 10, like consistently 10 and 10.
Yeah.
So definitely. So and it goes back to like you said, like it all that we say that, but it's like, does any of that does any of that change if KD goes. One thing I don't like is the simple fact of all this thing y'all trying to send KD out west. That's what I'm not feeling. Like the Brook, except for the Miami, but KD in Phoenix, KD in
Love
Portland.
that one. I don't necessarily care for that one, but I like the KD in Phoenix. I do. I really do. Booker, we talking about Booker, CP3. Oh my God, yes, I like that one. I do. That out in Phoenix. Oh yeah, I like that one a lot. I do. I know you don't like it because it's out west, but now it's making the west.
LA,
Yeah, it's making the west even harder.
If it's correction, let me change. If it's not if it's not LAL, that's because I say if it's not
Yeah, because
LA, but I forget there's another team.
he can
If
go
it
back to them Warriors, baby, and which I don't have a problem with that either.
if it's
Ship
not
out
if it's
Draymond.
if it's not that's not going to happen. Actually,
Yeah,
I did have a mental conversation with myself. Was like, what if they like, you know what? If he be like, the only way I'm coming back to Golden State is if y'all get ready to Draymond.
bro. If I'm them, by Draymond, hey, y'all get Draymond on the phone. Hey, Dre, check it, man. I need you to pack your shit up. What's wrong? Hey, we getting KD. I played with KD just a few years. He said you had to go, and I feel like right now we can let you go. You wasn't really doing too much. You was ready to go anyway. You got 3 rings, 4 rings. Go ahead. Just don't even come into work. Don't worry. Everything you got in the locker, we'll throw it away. Don't worry about it. Just you got money. We'll buy some more. CP3, Booker, Bridges, KD, Biyombo, as of now. Ooh,
Nah,
Bo, that's
that's not
what I'm
gonna happen.
saying, Jay. That's what I'm saying, boy. He go out there in Phoenix, Jay. Ooh. Is that Jay's team? Phoenix?
Yes, it is.
It is. That's right. That is Jay's team. That's right. That's his team. Yeah,
You know
buddy.
what? I rather
Yeah.
outside of LA, outside of the Lakers, you know where I wouldn't mind seeing KD, even though it's not a conversation.
The Clippers.
Hell no.
The Clippers would be cool too to me. I love it. I love it. Woo!
Memphis.
Ooh, boy, don't do that.
Memphis.
Ooh, wee.
If there was a
Boy, you talking
possibility
about
to
a
put him in
show?
Memphis.
Boy, you talking about a show. You talk about a show. Welcome to
And,
Barnes.
and
You talk about a show.
and I think if the situation like that, KD would
Mm,
just be like, you know what? Hey, young fella, do your thing.
I
Let me
know
see.
this was.
I got
I know this is for something else, Jay, but I'm gonna put it right now because I feel it's fitting. Yes, sir. Nah, don't mess that squad up, man. They got youngsters everywhere. Leave Memphis be. Man, I'm with Trey though. I can't. If he was to go out there
I
and
really feel that KD would be like, y'all do y'all thing. Like I'm just here. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Y'all
that
go ahead
part,
and y'all go ahead and do y'all thing. I'm just here when you know what I'm saying. I'm here when you need me. That'd be
that
nasty.
would be
See, Jay says just as I say, that would be nasty.
bro. That would be so nasty. Oh my god, bro. You talking about sell out seats you would not be able to get. No, I just came from Memphis.
It'd
I
be a
just came
whole vibe
when
out of
you boy,
Memphis.
you talking about I just came from Memphis. Speaking of which,
That grit and
we'll talk
grind.
about when we
Oh,
get to football. We talk about when we get to football, but I just came from Memphis. I was out in Tennessee, which is Jackson, Tennessee, which is like 80 miles from Memphis. They love Memphis out there. I mean, they love y'all out there. If KD was come out, bruh, do you know that you will not be able to get tickets to that game, bro? You would not be able to get tickets to that game at all. And I could see KD in them colors. I could see him in them colors, bro. I could,
that
bro. It would be
grit,
crazy.
that grit and grind to be back. Because then you can go out and just get straight dogs. Like you know what, so
Bruh,
we got enough offense. I need the grittiest and grimiest that's gonna saying put on a hard hat and get to
bruh,
work.
bruh, that part, J, KD. Oh, bro. It would not be pretty, but that's a good one, Trey. You came on, you hit that one right there on the head, bro. Ooh, boy, him out there, it would be ridiculous. Literally ridiculous for him to be out there, bro. Ooh, I don't even want to think about it. I don't know why ain't nobody said that.
Because they can't make it happen. Basically, they can't make that happen. There's not enough there. Because
Mm,
I think to make that happen, you would have to give up Triple J. You have to give up Jared Jackson Jr. He's not staying put in Memphis if to get like there has to be Bane might have to go. So it's like you're trading some of the like Jay was just saying that the talent you got to give up some of that talent in order to even make it to where they feel like they're going to be able to grow in that environment for them to sit up and go. So in any case, all this it makes a difference. Like if KD was a free agent, conversations would be completely different. But he still
Mm-hmm.
got all that time left on his contract at this point.
Yeah. So they
You know
have
what
to
I'm saying?
give
It
him.
has to be a trade. So even they have to give up a whole lot of assets. We talk about larger than the
Mhm.
Rudy Gobert trade assets type, like you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
probably 6 or 7 first rounders, a couple of their young talent to get him, maybe an expiring contract or two. That
Mhm.
that would have to be in order to make that happen.
Yeah, you're right. You're
You
right.
know, one ain't going where Ja ain't going nowhere. That's definitely,
Oh
but it's
hell no. John's definitely not going. John's
so it's going to
definitely
be. So it's almost
go.
basically like you said when the top of the hour when we came into this, where it basically was like it's basically a situation where KD's probably going to be sitting there at least for another year, or at least till the middle of the season, to where they finally be like, you know what, we're just gonna go ahead and give him up, or we're gonna go ahead and do the best possible trade that's out there and make moves
Mm-hmm.
because he's at this point. You're contracted, bro. Like I don't. Why are we even having this conversation? Go sit down somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. That,
Go sit
that
down
part,
somewhere.
bro. That part, bro. Yeah, you right about that. Like, why you under contract? There's really nothing we can talk about, bro. There's really
Yeah.
nothing we
So
can talk
it's
about, bro.
yeah. So, but it's all wishful thinking, of course. Like you said, with everything coming about, he's made his, like I said, he made his. He would like to go to Memphis, or I'm correction. He would like to go to Toronto or Miami, which is hard, very hard. But at this point, Brooklyn stated that they're going to find, if there's a trade to be made, it's going to be what's best for the organization. So that could be sending him anywhere. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what would be the worst place for him to go?
Who?
KD.
KD?
What would be
The
the worst
worst.
place? Yeah,
Ooh, the worst place for him to go.
San Antonio.
No, because you still got Pop, and Pop gonna figure it out. I feel like the worst place for him to go would probably be like, uh, OKC, back to OKC.
I don't know. They got young talent there.
Yeah, they do. They do got some young talent. Um, maybe to
He said the Kings.
Sacramento. That would be a good one.
I don't
Hmm.
know. Keegan Murray been showing his behind during the summer league. I don't know. He might have some brewing in Sacramento. They've
Mm.
been the bottom half of the a long time. It's the reemerging, the
Mm.
reemergence of them Kings.
Them Kangs. He said them Kangs.
I don't know who. I don't know. Sacramento maybe in on the west. In the east, it probably would be. Hmm, I almost
Mm.
said Atlanta, but that's not that. Uh,
Mm.
Detroit.
Oh, the Pistons. Yeah.
Even though they have got some talent, but Detroit or Orlando, maybe not Orlando. Matter of fact, speaking of Orlando, they got a pretty good wingspan. They got a bunch of everyone's presumably on their starting five could be 6'10" or higher or taller. So
Yeah.
interesting. But of course, we'll see. We still more. I'm very sure to come. I seen somewhere at the top when we first started. It said something about T.J. Warren. I think Anthony Price said something about T.J. Warren going to Brooklyn.
Mm.
Uh, Let's see what is up next. Maybe a little NFL conversation. As it's not much, because it's not really anything too much going on. But I know before we had a little discussion, a reference, and it was something that you said you wanted to talk about as far as the NFL as well. But we had a little discussion before when we talked about records and milestones and stuff. Records for the most part, but
But let me give you this real quick, Trey,
yes, yes,
before you
sir, yes, sir. Go ahead.
this. So for all you Houston Texans fans, right? Like I told you, I was just in Tennessee. I was in Memphis, or I was in Jackson actually, but I flew into Memphis. I had to drive down to Jackson, so forth and so on, to get back. I came back on Sunday. Um, and I was on in Memphis. Memphis got a small airport. Their airport is real small. So when you get on them planes coming out of Memphis, they got them the little small planes where it's only 2 seats on each side of the plane, unlike the bigger planes. And so I get on the plane. I think I had seat number 2, and I'm leaving, and we on the plane getting ready. I'm flying from Memphis to Houston. Um, so I get on the plane, and a young gentleman sits behind me. Young gentleman sits behind me. Young lady across from him. I seen the young I seen the young gentleman walking through the airport with something in his
Mm-hmm.
hand. And I was like, maybe it's just a just some memorabilia, just something that he's collected or whatever, or he's into stuff like that. The gentleman happened to be Jacoby Harris. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry, Jacoby Francis,
Okay.
the the rookie drafted to the Houston Texans. As you can see, he has the Houston Texans helmet in his hand. He's about to report to training camp. He's about to report to training camp. Memphis, he was the safety for Memphis. He's he played fifth year senior. He was a fifth year senior. This was his final year in Memphis and got drafted late rounds to the Houston Texans. And he was actually on the flight with me, right directly
Oh, so you
behind me.
flew into Houston.
Yeah, I flew into Houston, right? He was flying into Houston, and real down to earth young gentleman, man. Spoke about it. Spoke about his expectations and stuff like that, and like it was good, man. It was I didn't even he looked familiar, and for him to be carrying that helmet, like I said, he was carrying that Houston Texan helmet throughout the uh,
Airport.
airport. And again, I thought when I saw him, I was like, oh, maybe he's just a guy that's bought a helmet from somewhere or whatever. However, but come to find out, he is that guy who is actually got drafted. And it was cool to talk to him. I told him I had one of the guys whose wedding I was in. He's a huge Houston Texans fan. I know whatchamacallit is a Houston Texans fan. What's his name? Trey. Not Speakeasy, but that we used to do the show with.
Ooh. Oh, you talking about Coach Dante?
Dante. I know Dante is a huge Texans fan. He's a Houston fan. Coach Dante, there. Thank you, Key. Yeah, Coach Dante. He's a huge Texas fan. So, yeah, man, good guy, man. 5'11". Said he's ready. He said he's ready to do work out there in Houston, man. Ready to do work. So that was pretty tight, man. I asked to take a picture with him if he would, and he didn't. He was cool with it. He was like, yeah, no problem, because I wanted to show my like I said, one of my good friends. He's a huge Houston Texas fan, so I wanted to show that he was directly behind me on the plane, sat right by me, or right behind me. But go ahead, Trey.
Oh, that's a good experience. I don't know,
Yeah.
for some reason, like stuff like that. Like, I don't take many pictures, and
Mhm.
I don't know, just me. I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, keep
I
it
wasn't
moving.
gonna take. To be honest, so he sat, like I said, he sat behind me the whole flight. The flight was only about an hour and some change. He was
Hmm.
trying to go to sleep. As you can see, he had his headphones on. I don't know if y'all
Hmm.
saw it. He tried to go to sleep. He had his headphones on, and yeah, the lady that was across from him, she said she was a huge sports fan. So it was a lady that was the seat across from him, and she kept just kept talking to him, and you could tell that he was probably just trying to, because you a rookie going into the league. People gonna have questions once, especially once they see your helmet. So people gonna have questions, want to know things, and so she was,
Hmm.
her whole thing was she was trying to get free tickets. She trying to get free tickets to
Weird.
the, but of course, he a rookie. Like, come on, like, not taking anything away from Jacoby, because I watched him. I watched him play. He's definitely he's a beast out there. He's a beast.
Uh-huh.
But she when you a player and stuff like that, I'm sure there's moments in time, especially being a rookie. It's times in which you really don't want to address people when they have all these. He don't have that pull. That part, Key. That part. When you don't want to you don't want to have all those conversations and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
you get on the plane, your mind is focused. You about to go into training camp. Mind you, now this is a 24-year-old, 25-year-old going into training camp. Mind is focused because he about to go against all these veterans. We know what they you hear the stories about what they do to rookies, stuff like that, So, I'm sure his mind is focused on what he's about to do. I'm sure he's in camp right now, what I'm saying, getting ready, doing whatever he's going through his drills, whatever they doing out here in this heat. The heat out there in Memphis is totally different out here in Texas. So he out there trying to get his game in, and so she just asking him just numerous questions, and you can see he had his headphones on, trying to take a nap or whatever, however. But it is what it is. I walked away. I told him good luck initially and all of that, and then I thought about, I was like, oh, let me take a picture with him real quick. I thought about the show, stuff like that. I knew it would be something that I could bring to the show. I said, let me take a picture real quick, and so I took a picture with him. I went back and said, let me, I was like, hey, Jacoby, can I take a picture with you or whatever? He's like, oh yeah, no problem, man, no problem. So we took a picture or whatever, and that was pretty much it, man.
Put another one in the archives.
Another one in the archives, bro. Another one in the archives, man.
I guess we'll be able to report that. If not today, tomorrow.
Anthony got some insight. Anthony got some insight, man.
So, like I said, a couple of things which it came across as looking for content in reference to the NFL. So, some things came interesting. Some stuff I didn't know about when I first started reading. So, two things in real quick, which probably it'll take us out as we go through and engage in the topics. And of course, before we end, I gotta get to the full. Your full comment on the shift in the shift.
Bleach report.
Yeah, the shift in the landscape of college football, but well, actually college in general, because it's going to be basketball as well. We'll come to it, but a couple things in which I know about it, and so I like your insight and conversation on this. First and foremost, your boy Tom Brady.
Okay. The GOAT.
Did you, if you want to call him that, did you know that Tom Brady could potentially be the first quarterback in NFL history to reach 100,000 career passing yards? He currently sits at 520 yards passing in regular season, 13,049 yards passing in playoff season, which gives him a total of 9,565 yards career passing, meaning he only needs 2,431 yards passing. He's only 2,431 yards shy of 100,000 yards from a career. His career average per game is 266 yards, which potentially could get him to break the record or to reach that plateau by week 10 versus the Seattle Seahawks in Germany. Currently, say he can do it in his sleep.
He can do it in his sleep. Yeah.
So you think he's going to get 2,400 easy?
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT, man, and you can't solidify goatism. You can't solidify goatism without reaching that feat, man. You gotta solidify goatism, and to do that, he's going to do that, man. 100,000.
He needs 24:31 to
He probably gonna do
reach
it in
100,000.
He probably gonna do it week 8.
It was conversation that it was like it had 7, 8. It had 7, 8, and 10. They said basically with his from his average, his career average 266 yards a game.
Yeah, I totally feel like he's gonna. Yeah, week 8. I give him week 8. He gonna
in those type of situations, do you think teams be like, you know what, go ahead and get it? I would be that one that you was about to say, or I would be the or. Like, hell no.
I knew Trey would be that. Man, y'all better not let him. I swear, Trey would be that dude, that player, or that coach. Be like, y'all better not let him get it on us. I swear, if y'all let him get him on us, I swear, y'all better not let him get that record on us. Trey gonna do everything in his power to ensure you don't get it. Everything. If he got to turn the lights off in the stadium, he. Cut if it's a night game, straight gonna cut the lights off, make the game get forfeited, erase all stats and all types of stuff, bro.
That
Play
is like that's yeah. I would be that person like, nah, he ain't getting out on this game. Not today. Not today.
you
Not
gotta
on
realize
duty.
you're
Not
not
on
on
duty.
duty. You gotta realize that it goes down in history books on
Yeah.
what team we did it on. Yeah.
And how many yards? Like, you know,
Yeah.
you finna have a field day on me.
Yeah, it goes down. Well, who the coach was, all of that. All that.
The
Yeah.
who gave up the most
Yeah.
yards in the game?
Yeah.
What
Who caught
corner
the
gave up
ball?
the most?
What corner? Yep. What corner? Yep. All of that. It goes down in the history book.
Those
Yeah.
stats get real. Like what? Wait, who even know they kept this stat? Like
Yeah.
what?
That's crazy. I didn't know that he was on the record for that though. I did not know that. That's amazing. But I like again for him to be goatism, you might as well let it happen. For him
Nah,
to be
not, let
goatism.
it happen. Ain't nothing happen. It definitely would have like, nah,
It's
we're not
gonna
doing
happen. It's gonna happen.
it.
You
Someone's
said
gonna give it to him at some point. Yeah.
you said week 10. That means he still got 7 more games after that. Still. That's crazy. It's gonna happen. As long as he don't get hurt. As long as he don't get hurt, injured, no, nothing like that, it's gonna happen. And speaking of which, the first well, I don't know if he's the first player, but of course, he was on last year's Madden, and he was not jinxed. He was not jinxed. He was him.
Speaking of that,
He him and Patrick was on there together.
you know your boy is gonna be on the cover of your beloved 2K.
Yeah, I saw. Wait, on the beloved. Oh, John Morant.
Mm-mm.
Who? KD.
Booker.
Oh, is he? No, I haven't seen it. No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
he's gonna be on the cover of 2K23.
I did not see that. Hold on one second. Hold on, I did not do that. That's not what I meant to do.
Cover of 2K23.
No, what you doing?
So of course, continues on. Another interesting fact that came about: Russell Wilson. This one's for Russell Wilson. Russell can become the 5th quarterback to defeat all 32 teams this year. Of course, the other 4 who have done it has been Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Brett Favre have been successful in completing that feat. Of course, it's hard to beat that team if you play for that team when drafted. So, of course, it makes it easier once you've been traded or moved on to another organization to now get an opportunity to beat that team if you're still there. So that is currently the 2 teams left in which Russell can basically meet that feat this year is the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Chargers. So being now that he's in Denver, he gets 1 chance at the Seahawks this year. He gets 2 chances at the Chargers every year. So for the most part, all he has to do is defeat the Seahawks, and then he's going to get an opportunity to defeat the Chargers at some point, being that he plays them twice a year every year. Um, so we'll see if that happens or how that goes or whatever case like that. Additionally, another record or milestone that's possibly in place. Aaron Rodgers can become the second player. Correction. He can become the 3rd player to repeat 3 times as a QB rating champion, or possibly the second player to be a 3-time back to back to back MVP winner in the league. Of course, it's been done before when it comes down to repeats as a QB rating champion, as Steve Young did it 4 times from 91 through 94 for the San Francisco 49ers. Peyton Manning did it 3 times with the Colts from 2004 to 2006, being the back to being a 3-time QB rating winner. Additionally, Brett Favre is the only quarterback to win 3 consecutive MVP awards, or any only person to win 3 consecutive MVP awards at this point. You know what? I'll get back to you on that, Anthony. I'll get back to you. We'll talk that in a second. Um, so far, only being, like I said, being the only player from 95, 96, and 97 to win the MVP award. So, of course, it might take a huge feat for Aaron Rodgers to do, especially now that he's without his top receiver in Devontae Adams. Uh, or it might not be hard if he does little dinks and ducks right here and there, and keep his rating down low. He might be effective. It's possible. Initially, I was like, he can't do it, but I guess when you think about it, he can. Even with if he has a different even with a different organization. I mean, without his top wide receiver. So yes, another possible stone possibly be met this year. If not, maybe 2 years. It could be a 2 year, 3 year one. Matt Ryan. You know, Matt Ryan could become the fifth career, all-time career passer this year. He's only 265 yards from having 60,000 yards passing. Um, with that, he's also only 1,627 yards from passing Dan Marino for seventh all time, 3,706 yards from passing Philip Rivers for six all time. And then additionally, he's 4,354 yards from passing Ben Roethlisberger for fifth all time. Of course, with Ben retiring this year and Matt Ryan being the closest as the eighth all time passer, being the closest to players still playing, he has an opportunity to pass them up at that point. So I ask you, anyone, do you think? Of course, I ask Bishop as he comes back in. Do you think that's a possibility for him to receive or pass that up to get that record or to get into that time and space?
What I miss? So you was talking. You was. I know you was talking about what's it called? Who you said? Who's on the cover of 2K?
What's his name? Devin Booker.
Really, I didn't see that. I have not
Yeah.
seen that. I ain't mad at it. He deserves it.
So no, I covered talked about Rogers, what his possible milestone would be.
Oh, okay.
Um, he could become the third player to pass for to have to receive the quarterback receiving quarterback rating champion
Mm,
this year. It has only been done by two other players, one being Steve Young, who's done it 4 times, and the other
mm,
being Peyton Manning, who's done it 3 times, and or he could become the second player to receive back to back to back MVP awards. The first done by Brett Favre, 95, 96, and 97 for MVP, which I foresee is going to be extremely hard. If
mm,
Aaron Rodgers does it again, under with what he's given, what he has, is going to be something to see.
mm-hmm.
Uh, Also covered Russell Wilson could be the fifth player to beat every team in the NFL this year.
Oh wow.
There's only 2 teams he needs to beat:
What teams is those?
it's the Seahawks and the Chargers.
Oh well, of course the Seahawks because he just left them.
hmm hmm
The
So he'll
Seahawks.
be the fifth. He'll be the fifth player to do that. The other players is Drew Brees, Tom Brady, um, Brett Favre, and Peyton Manning.
Mm,
NFL history. And then when you came in, we was talking about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan only needs 265 yards to become a 60,000 yard career passer,
mm,
which is a lot when you think about 40. Wesley is almost 40,000. Well, a career passer, so we're not even taking consideration the other yards. But he needs only 1,600 to become seventh all time over Dan Marino. 3,706 to become sixth all time, passing Philip Rivers, and then how he gets into the top five is throwing for 4,354 yards. That's how he passes Big Ben So I was just asking, do you think he gets that record or he meets that milestone this year, or how high does he go?
You said Philip Rivers? Oh, you said not
Matt
Philip Rivers.
Ryan,
You said Matt Ryan, who's now Matty,
he's currently eighth.
Matty Ice, who's now in Indianapolis, right?
Yes,
Hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a good question, man. That is a good question on whether or not he. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he. I don't know if he can. Because Indianapolis, man, this is his first season with him. I don't know. I think he falls a little. No, I don't. If I got to answer, no, I don't think he does it because I'm not in his
I think
first season.
I think he can at least get six. I mean seven. He can pass Marino, 1,600 yards,
Yeah, he could do that. Yeah,
and then he needs 30, but he needs 3,700 yards to pass Rivers and 4,300 to pass Ben.
right. Yeah. He probably won't pass Ben, but yeah, like you say, six probably. Yeah, it's his first season with him. He's got a lot of he got a lot of figuring out to do with that squad.
Uh, and then interesting enough, Derrick Henry. You was just talking about being in Tennessee. Derrick Henry can become the second player to have consecutive 100 plus yard average seasons. So he currently has three. If he was to get another 100-yard a game average, he would be his fourth consecutive season in which he's done it. Only only one player has done it consecutively. Has had four consecutive 100-plus-yard seasons. And of course, that's Jim Brown. He's the only
Mm-hmm.
player that's done it 4 yards consecutive, 4 seasons consecutively.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, there are players who have done it in their career multiple times, in which, in that case, Derrick Henry could become the fourth player to do that. The others being, of course, the aforementioned Jim Brown, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Eric Dickerson did it 5 times in his career, and
Mm-hmm.
Barry Sanders done it 4 times in his career.
Okay.
And then what I did not know, which is interesting, is um, someone else that could do it if they do get 100 yards. Do have 100-yard average this year. Is Nick Chubb can also enter into that stratosphere as well as one of
Oh,
those to have it overall consecutive, not consecutive, but overall. But
overall,
he
right?
but he is looking at getting his fourth a fourth consecutive year of having 5 yards per carry, 5 yard average per carry in every
Okay.
game, and
That's Nick
every
Chubb,
carry, every carry for 5 yards or more.
and that's Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, yes,
Hmm.
making
Okay.
things happen. So,
Hmm.
uh, additionally, looking at a couple of things, I came across a list. We all said makes
Wins
defense
championship.
wins ball games. Yeah, wins get championships. Offense sells tickets. So,
Mm-hmm.
being that said, I looked at who is looked at as the top edge rushers in the league currently, and it might be a little interesting. So I'll give you 10 through 1, and I'll give
Mm-hmm.
you honorable mentions, and then I let's see what you think. So
Mm-hmm.
number 10, best edge rushers in the NFL. What's good? What's good? Slow jams. Good morning, brother. Um, Number 10, Cameron Jordan of the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
Number 9, Khalil Mack of the Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay.
Number 8, Brian Burns of the Carolina Panthers.
Who?
No, Brian Burns, Carolina Panthers. Now you know
Okay.
what, I said the same thing. Like, who the hell is Brian Burns? Uh, Number 7, Chandler Jones of the Las Vegas Raiders.
So I can see that.
Number 6, Von Miller of the Buffalo Bills.
Of course.
Number 5, Max Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders. Bookends.
Yeah, the Raiders is yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bookends. Um, Number 4, Joey Bosa of the Los Angeles Chargers. Again, bookends.
Mm-hmm.
All in the AFC East. I mean, correction, the AFC West. Number three, Nick Bosa of the San Francisco 49ers. Number two, Miles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, number one currently,
Of
uh,
course.
TJ Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, of course, before we get into it, honorable mentions Trey Hendrickson, Cincinnati, Chase Young, Washington,
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Hunter, Minnesota, Demarcus Lawrence, Dallas, Josh
Mm-hmm.
Allen, Jacksonville, Robert Quinn, Chicago, and lastly, Shaquille Barrett, Tampa Bay. So I see already Anthony Price says Crosby is too high at the number five. Who is he? Does he differ? In your opinion, Anthony, does he deserve to be in the top 10 for edge rushers? Let's start there first. And
That
if
part.
so, if so, who would you replace him with? Where do you drop him down to, and who do you bring him up? Who bring up? But back to what we was getting ready to talk about as well as we wait for Anthony to answer that. What do you think about Las Vegas and the Chargers both having top 10
Two
candidates for edge rushers, which means they're
bookends like
posted bookends.
yeah. I mean
Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa.
yeah, it fits the bill, bro. You can't deny the fact that those guys are forced to be reckoned with on the gridiron. You can't be mad at it.
All in the trenches, or part of
Yeah.
the trenches. It's
Yeah.
not defensive tackles, but the
Yeah.
ends. Woo.
Yeah.
And
You
then, like
can't
you said,
be mad at that. You
Max
cannot.
Crosby and Chandler Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. You cannot be mad at that, bro. Whatsoever. I totally I,
That's basically like saying everything's up the middle, no running. All right, that's
yeah.
all it is running. That's all. No get up. There's no off tackle, no outside, nothing outside the box. We got this. We
Nope. Yeah.
locked in.
Keep it in the middle, or you ain't going, or ain't not going to benefit you. And basically, what they saying. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Hmm.
So what we got? Oh, about 19 minutes. So Bishop, you wasn't here.
Hmm.
We had a
Hmm.
brief conversation on Monday. Oh, hold up. Okay, yeah, 10, but I drop him to number 8 or number 7 over Mac in the business. So the Bengals defensive end, he's just an honorable mention. But
Hmm.
number 8 or number 7, like I said, number 8 is Brian Burns from Carolinas, and number 7 is Shannon Jones.
Chandler Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, but yeah, so conversation that we had briefly. I can wait to get you back on the show today. Uh,
Uh-oh.
could have did it yesterday. Couldn't wait to get you back on the show today.
Here we go. Gonna be some
USC, UCLA,
going
Big
into the.
Ten,
I knew.
2024.
So I did. Y'all heard. You heard. So check this out. You saw
Yeah,
what I put.
the blasphemy. You was like, hell no! Like, look at this dude.
I couldn't get on.
It's
So
like
I,
the last ditch effort. Like you your last ditch is like,
yeah,
I'm
I
just
said
gonna
they
throw
can't
this
hear
out
me.
there.
I'm gonna throw this in there. They can't hear me. Let me throw this in there. Hell no. Yeah. So a lot of people wonder how does Lincoln Riley, now that they're about to head over there to that Big Ten, how does he feel now that he's about to head to the Big Ten? We do know, and so I didn't hear, when are they talking about going over there?
2 years, 2024.
2024. Okay,
So they're gonna play 2023, 2 and 2023.
over
So
there
they get 2 years to get the feet under here to get
yeah,
get to going.
yeah. So I I think it's a good move for them, for USC and or is it just them? Who else is going? You in Oregon? Y'all in Oregon or something like that? Who else is going?
UCLA, UCLA,
UCLA. That's
UCLA.
UCLA. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's a good thing for them, because now the conversation will be that they're no longer in the weakest conference, going over to the Big Ten. That's huge. But they better strap on they better strap these chin straps because the Big Ten ain't no punk over there, bro.
So when
Y'all
I
got
was looking at it, the Big Ten, the
some
Big
work.
Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, what duly noted. So when I look at it as the the East is the strong, and that actually, Anthony, that's not a stupid question. So is in some instances,
No, they don't always. But go
yeah,
ahead, Trey.
it's not always. Yeah, so that's not a stupid question. Like you might have, like think about it, Notre Dame has played as an independent
Independence.
for
Yep.
years, but they play in the ACC in
Basketball.
basketball.
That's
So
right.
or some places they only move like the women's
Right.
basketball team
That
would
part
move
too.
while everyone else. So it just
Hey,
depends. It's
yeah.
odd,
Yeah.
but I
I don't know
know
how
for
they do
this
that
one.
either, but yeah,
Yeah,
that it is.
for this one, I know for a fact for this one that all the sports are being moved. So you see USC, UCLA's all sports are going to be moved and playing under the Big Ten, for that from that fact of the matter.
Yeah.
But like you saying, it's definitely going to be something. But when I looked at the East is seemingly the strong. It has been the strongest when it comes to the Big Ten, Big Ten, the Eastern Division.
The
Uh,
Eastern. Who's the Eastern Division? I don't because I don't. I
Man,
don't.
Penn State, Ohio State,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So they, saying they're pretty heavy. Like Minnesota is in the north, is in the west. But I was wondering as I was talking to Ron, I was thinking that that is going to be a situation to where maybe
Penn State.
USC they put USC in the
Michigan
west.
State. Yeah. What is it? Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State. Ooh,
Hmm. That's
Maryland, Rutgers, and Indiana. And then in the
yeah,
West, it's Iowa, Minnesota. Minnesota has come up. Iowa has come up too. Wisconsin, and then Purdue, Illinois, Nebraska, Northwestern. Oh yeah, the East is definitely more dominant.
and I
Yeah.
wonder where like are they how they going to align? Are they going to
What they
throw?
gonna
Are
have
they
to do?
going to move?
Yeah.
Are they going to move somebody out of the west and move them up into the east
No,
and
well
drop and put USC or UCLA?
you said both of y'all are going. So just like they're probably going to do with us when
Put
we
them in
go to
separate divisions.
right, right. So they still play each other and stuff like that. So yeah, they'll probably put one of y'all in the East, one of y'all in the West. I know y'all would probably be prefer to be in the West.
Yes, I'm
Y'all
not
would,
going to even lie. It makes no sense. It makes
yeah,
no sense to put this on. You know what I'm saying? That's gouging. That's like basically you beating up each other. Like you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's
That's exactly what it is. Because Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, and Penn State in the East. Good lord.
and there's no slouches in the West. I mean, it's
No, like I said, the
Wisconsin,
Iowa, the Wisconsin,
Iowa, the
yeah,
Wisconsin,
Minnesota,
the
Minnesota.
Minnesota of lately. Yeah,
All
that's
matter of fact, the first shoot the in the West, the top what 1, 2, 3, 4 the top 4 teams in the West had winning records in their conference.
yeah.
Whereas
So that's
whereas the top oh no the top three in the conference in the East had winning records. Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State had a losing record in the conference, and so forth all the way down. But yeah, y'all would prefer to be. I know y'all would prefer to be in the West and let
in the
UC
West. Yeah.
you let UCLA go to the East.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I when I heard it and saw it, I was like, wow. I said, I wonder what Lincoln Riley thinks about that now. Going over there to play the Penn States and the Ohio States and the Michigans and the Michigan
What's
States.
good, Bobby? Good morning, sir. Good
What up,
morning.
Bobby? What up? What up, Bobby? What up? What up?
So
What up? What
what's
up?
going to go on, Anthony? What should
At the
go
Pac-
on is the Pac-12 is going to probably try to expand and bring in some players. I know a
some teams.
conversation, some
Yeah.
things in which I've seen probably Colorado State, San Diego State, and even potentially Boise State,
Mm.
bringing them in to try to help out to now that they have to extend. Um, but there's also been talks and conversation in reference to maybe the Big Ten isn't finished and might invite Washington and Oregon to the Big Ten as well.
But
Put
this
that
is
which
the
will
thing.
actually put them at 18.
What I heard was too another thing where there was a huge issue is the fact that y'all in UCLA going to the Big Ten, y'all going from coast to coast to play games, bro.
Yeah,
Y'all going from coast to coast to play games. Y'all going all the way
in
out to
some
Michigan,
instances,
all the
yeah.
way out, yeah, the Ohio's to the Michigan States,
Oh
bro.
hell,
That's
the furthest is going to be from California
Maryland,
to Rutgers.
the Rutgers in Maryland. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Out there in New York,
Hmm.
bro. That's a lot, bro. they was talking about like some people was like that's not a good idea because to go out and then not only that, the elements.
It's gonna
Ain't
be
gonna,
different.
yeah, it's gonna definitely be huge. That's gonna be huge difference, bro. Y'all not used to that type of weather in football for y'all.
So, well, it is to a degree
That's
because
big.
we have to go play up in the Pacific Northwest where sometimes you might catch it, or the Oregon. So it's not. I mean, it's different. Utah's and Colorado. So it's not. It's
Yeah, but
different.
y'all
It's
ain't
going to be
playing that.
different.
Y'all ain't playing that New York and Maryland weather though. Yeah,
Well,
y'all might play the Colorado. Yeah, y'all might get a little snow, but we talking about the New York and Michigan weather, bro. That
and it's no different. Like they're going to have to come to us as well.
that too. That
So
too. They gonna have to adapt. Don't get me
but
wrong.
it's gonna be crazy having to go to play Penn State and during the whiteout. You know what I'm saying, when Penn
Yeah,
State
white out
does the
game. Yeah,
whiteout game. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a truly test to see that Crimson against that white, or you know what I'm saying, to go play at Ohio State when they on their games at the big when they're doing the dotting the I. So
yeah,
or you know what I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah,
going to the big house in Michigan, those type of games where those
yeah. And Ann
yeah.
Arbor, Ann Arbor, got to head out to
Mhm.
Ann Arbor. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
not to but it won't. You know what? This is another reason I say it won't be that big of a difference because we consistently play Notre Dame, and we've had to play Notre
Oh
Dame in
yeah,
those type of games.
right.
So that you know, what I'm saying, so it kind of like sets the table now. The only difference is now you're gonna have to be a little more implemented to playing due to the fact of now, like you said, the Rutgers, the Penn States, the Ohio's, the Michigans, Michigan State now, and all that type of stuff. Iowa, Minnesota, like those games where that inclement weather is going to become.
A huge factor.
But Lincoln Riley, hopefully, what's going to
Which
happen
he ain't
is
used to either, because he coming from Oklahoma. We didn't have to play in that type of weather either. We
well, what
get
I
it.
was about to say is like hopefully what happens is Lincoln Riley recruits from those areas in which he brings homegrown talent that plays in that, and
To
you
that
know saying,
weather. Yeah.
and where they're used to that and they understand, or put some
Mhm.
things together where it's like, we're going to be here in 2 years. Hey, we're not this season. Our spring training is going to be.
Let me ask you, and I was about to ask you, Trey. So you as a coach, you coach USC, you know you're about to head over to the Big Ten in 2024. In your up to coming seasons, do you find ways during the off season to try and find ways to prepare your team to play in
Yes.
weather stadiums like that,
Bro,
like the
so
Ohio?
not maybe not for the 2 years that we're trying to finish. Like we're basically going to try to take care of business. But after
Mhm.
that season, but in
That
within the last
2023,
season,
that
yeah,
2023 season.
within the 2023 season, I'm looking
Mhm.
to see what the budget is. I'm already engaging my athletic director and the school president, if there's funds for me to take my team to wherever is willing to take us to train in that environment.
You know what I would do, Trey? If it was me and
Hmm.
I was Lincoln Riley out there, I'm gonna be totally honest. In the 2023 season, going into the 2024 season, knowing I'm headed out to the Big East, to the Big Ten, um, I'm taking my team and depending on funds, taking my team and I'm taking them to Fort Drum to
Mm.
train. I'm taking them straight to Fort Drum. I'm gonna find a spot out there in Fort Drum and I'm training them for probably about a whole month. Let them train for a whole month out there in that weather in Fort Drum. I sure would. That's what I would do. That's what I would do as a coach. Take them out there and let them just train for.
It's just like in the military, you do cold weather training,
That's right.
in
That's how
which
you do. That's what you do.
I unfortunately I never got a chance to do cold weather training like in Korea
Yeah, thank
because
God.
because I was
Yeah.
sick. I got sick when our unit went out, so I didn't get a chance to do cold
Oh,
weather
you were
training.
supposed to go. You just didn't make it.
Yeah, I just didn't make it. I didn't get.
Oh no,
I got sick, man. I got an ear infection. I had a real bad ear infection, and that ear
mm,
infection ended up turning into laryngitis. And but
oh
it was an extremely bad case of laryngitis, like it scarred vocal cords and all that type. That's how bad it was.
no, wow.
So of course, the PA, I went and got seen, and they gave me quarters, and so I ended up getting CQ at the barracks, and I could see the unit in the back, like up on the hill. It was a hill back behind our barracks, and I could see them up there, but they putting their tents up and the light. You know, what I'm saying they was using lighting discipline, so I could just see
Mhm.
flashlights, but I could hear clink, 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 tink, tink, tink as they're
Yeah.
nailing the stakes in.
Mhm.
That night, and I looked out my window. I cut my lights out and looked out my blinds, and it's like,
Mhm.
well, at least I'm not out there. But they spent the
Yeah.
night there, 24 hours in cold weather training.
Ooh, yeah, Lord. See, I will say I didn't have never had to go to do cold weather training. However, comma,
Hmm.
I was on orders for Fort Drum at one time. I was on orders for Fort Drum. And boy, did I try my best to get out of them, and I did. I got out them orders, but I was on orders for Fort Drum, Watertown, New York. I was on orders, even
So
Germany. Matter of fact, after my 3 years, after that, matter of fact, after that sham duty I told you, where I was only
uh,
working breakfast and lunch, no dinners and no weekends,
they had some for you.
they was like, "Oh yeah, this guy got we got it." They was about to send me to Fort Drum. They had me on
So
orders for
what
Fort.
I did think I was going to Fort Drum for a second because upon leaving JBL, then when I seen that I got orders for Fort Polk, I was looking.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying. So I was at Fort Polk 310. I was like, all right, but somewhere in the midst of me getting up out of JBLM, I start receiving a welcome letter to from 310, but it was in the signature block was Fort Drum. So I was like, whoa, hold up. Like, what's going on here? I was like, you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? I was like, hold up. I thought I was going to Fort Polk. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Why am I getting
Fort
welcome
Drum.
letters to Fort Drum from a
Mhm.
from a sponsor in Fort Drum? I was like, I was like, hold up. So I had to
So
I called. I was like, wait, hold up. So I called the person. I was like, hey, I was like, they said, oh no. It's like just because, you know what I'm saying, our headquarters is in, we just
in
think, you
Fort
know,
Drum.
say, yeah, our headquarters is Fort Drum.
Oh,
But
okay.
yes, you're still going. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Ooh. Yeah,
So
make sure
yeah, I
y'all
was
don't
like,
change that. Make sure y'all don't change. Make sure there ain't no change in that. Don't change it. Don't change it.
but of course, the Stanton, he's been to Fort Drum cold weather training. He said 3 days sub zero weather, no cold weather gear. I
Okay.
see. I was a cold weather injury, so that was
Me
going to
too.
work for
I
me.
was a cold weather injury too. I had frostbite once before.
Yeah,
So I,
I had Frost Bland. You talking about a grown man cry? I was sitting. You know, I was
ooh,
professing all kind of stuff. I was like, Lord Jesus, if you take this pain away, I was like the with the feel of the blood rushing back to your fingertips after frost blade. Oh my goodness! I was
it's
sitting up in
bad.
there. I was in the bathroom dancing with my hands under my arms and stuff like that. And of course, I did
Mhm.
the one thing that you're not supposed to do:
Run hot water on it.
run hot water on it. Oh my
That's
goodness, that made it
that's what I
even
did
worse. So I was
first. That's
really in
what I
there. I
did.
was really in there dancing. I was like, "Oh my goodness,"
That's what
crying and just
happened.
saying, "Like,
Yes,
please,
that
like,
happened to
trying to
me
wait."
too.
Yeah,
Yes, that
that
happened to me
frost
too. I
blade
did the
is
exact same thing. Your hand's so cold. It's like you don't you feel
you
like that's
lose.
the only way. Yeah, that's the only way you're gonna fix it. And I did the
It's
exact
like
same.
trying to gnaw your wrist off. You
Yeah, I
handcuffed.
did,
It's like
bro.
it's a true saw moment. I can tell that.
That part, bro. Yeah,
I could have looked up in the corner and seen Jigsaw. Like,
yeah, bro. It was
let's
bad.
play a
It was
game.
bad. Yeah, let's play.
if if you want your fingers to be,
Yeah, it
yes,
was bad.
it's no joke. Definitely no joke at all. Frost,
Mhm.
cold weather. Where did I get
But
cold? I came all the way to Fort Hood to get cold weather, a cold
I
weather
know, right?
injury.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Not a place that definitely not that damn cold. But yeah, yeah.
Often after leaving Korea, I think it started in Korea, and then Fort Hood just finished the job.
Yeah. But like I say, I will. If it was me, if I was Lincoln Riley, that's exactly what I would do. I would take him out to Fort Drum or somewhere like that, and oh my bad, and put him out there. I probably did too, but didn't know it. There were plenty of times where we were stuck in the motor pool because you couldn't be outside long enough to get to your car. Wow, wow.
And you know what's the worst? It's for your feet to be numb in them damn boots.
Woo, boy, where you can't feel them, bruh.
And
That
when
that
you try to stand in one place and it's hurting, like
boy, it sucks. That junk sucks, bro. I'm not gonna front. It sucks. That is one of the worst things, bro. I'm not gonna front.
that's
That
why it
sucks.
was good when I finally became when I crossed over and became
Mhm.
a coordinator specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was gonna give me some reprieve. I was like, this is even worse.
Yeah.
On that MKT, on
Ooh,
that metal, on
that
that metal
metal,
floor.
that metal MKT. Because whether y'all know it or not, when you in them boots, you feel that metal. Well, in the cold, you feel that metal. You feel that metal through them boots. People don't believe. Oh no, you feel that metal through them boots, bro. You do. You be like, no, y'all should be good. Y'all got that. You got them boots. Don't believe that.
The MB,
Don't you believe it?
that MBU heater be you should be just breaking your neck trying to get on and cut them MB
Oh,
the
you
brick
love
on
that's
the
one.
to get
That's
the
one thing you
MBU.
want to be in the. You want to be on the trail.
Or you
Yeah.
going to be working at KP, so you kind of because that tent get hot from them
Yes,
MBUs going
from
all
the
day.
yeah, the MBUs. Yes, yes, sir, yes, sir. PT continued until 40 degrees,
I know. See, that's
minus
that.
40. I mean, until minus 40. Nah, bro. See, I think God knew I wasn't gonna make it. I probably wouldn't have been able to retire if I went out to Fort Drum. We did get reissued cold weather gear every 6 months when I was there. What? See, See, I think God knew that if I'd have got sent out there, I wouldn't have retired because I wouldn't have been able to make that. That's just too much, bro.
See,
Way too much.
so I get so you see that's it's just some things come with being stationed at Fort Hood all that time because I
Yeah.
didn't experience none of that, but I wasn't like I said going to JBLM. We didn't even have that much. I think with the 3 years I was in JBLM, it might have snowed 3 times.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, man. Boy.
So of course that's our time for today. I greatly appreciate y'all being with here this morning, be information, talking with us, and see maybe we might have more conversations, more to talk about in reference to the NBA. Does KD get switched out? Does he move on? Uh, does the Deshaun Watson case come down? Does the decision gets issued tomorrow? What does the
Still waiting, man.
world of sports? Yeah, yeah. What does the world of sports have for us? So
Anthony.
they do.
They be coming up with some crazy stuff like that, though. They do.
Let's play a
They
game.
do. Yeah.
You have exactly 10 minutes to open the door to where your sausage is being cooked.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, climb the glory. That is true. Try the glory. So, like I said, greatly appreciate y'all rocking with us this morning. Look forward to seeing y'all, of course, tomorrow, which would be our early hump day. We already at hump day already, Bishop. Already.
Yes. Short week, short week, short week.
Short week and do. Yes, I have. I'm saying some great intramural intramural volleyball tonight. Get to watch some teams play
Okay.
and enjoy that and continue on from there. Got some graphics and stuff to do for some other stuff. So more, of course, more to come. Always uh, being staying busy. Any last words, Bishop, before we get up out of here?
Oh no, man. For the most part, man, thank y'all for all those that tune in to First Formation Monday through Friday, 09 to 1100 hours. And that's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for you civilian personnel. We Central Standard Time, of course, for you civilian personnel. We thank you. We appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed week. Hopefully everybody was safe yesterday during the 4th of July. And we appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate it. So at this time, further ado, show attention, fall out. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Phi Military Fraternity Incorporated representing. Y'all have a good one. Peace.